What's up, guys? Matt Faircloth here. Have you ever stayed in an Airbnb before? Today's video is going to be teaching you guys how to own Airbnbs. Today, we're going to talk about Airbnbs as cabins in the mountains. Phenomenal places that people like to go near cool assets like Dollywood and stuff like that. My friend Leslie is going to talk to us about owning cabins in the Smoky Mountains. You can apply the lessons learned here to any Airbnb conversation out there. But what I got from this conversation is a quick tip before we get in. You've got to have the right operator partner in the market. Leslie's located in the Smoky Mountains, soon to be in Colorado Rockies as well. And so you need operators that are seasoned like hers are, that can help you guys find the right deals and get them operating and running. Leslie's going to talk to us about how to make it the ladder. So let's bring her in now and we can hear all about the Airbnb world and what it takes to be successful. Leslie, such a great. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
So Leslie and I have been friends for a while because of my wife's Real Estate Invest Her community that I met Leslie at originally. And her and I bumped into each other at the Best Ever Con, BEC Best Ever Conference out in Salt Lake City. And we got to talking and she won, believe it or not, just because she's my friend, she put her name into a raffle and she won this raffle to do advice with Matt. And I'm like, oh, you. And Leslie and I are friends, so we got into chatting and stuff like that. It's supposed to be a mentoring call, but you know what? Let's just talk Airbnbs. So Leslie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Sorry for those of y'all that are watching that don't know the super easy answer to the super basic question, but what is an Airbnb? I know it's not really, it's like Xerox. It's not really, that's not really the name of it. It's a short-term rental. So let's go there. What is a short-term rental? Teach us that, and then we'll get into smokies and cabins and all that jazz.
Well, there's short-term rentals and then there's vacation rentals and there's short-term vacation rentals. So somewhere in the mix of that is where I ended up landing. I'm in vacation markets. Like you said, looking to move into Colorado, do the same thing, but I'm targeted on places that people can go create dreams and memories with their family and loved ones in a cool house or a cabin, or sometimes it's even like a ski in, ski out condo. But yeah, they're going on vacation and they don't want to stay at a hotel. So it's another option.
And I mean, I have 2 young kids, so I'd rather not stay in a hotel. I'd rather have them have their own room and have my wife and I have our own room, so we don't have to everybody go to bed at 7 o'clock, you know? So it's nice to have, you're like, okay, tuck them in and, you know, like my wife and I can stay up and do some adulting and do whatever else we want to do, right? You can't do that in a hotel. You can do that kind of environment at home, but you can't do it in a hotel. And what I've found is a vacation rental give you that kind of home feel while you're away.
Totally. And it just like Airbnb, I mean, there was vacation rental by owner, VRBO, way before, like years before Airbnb. It's like, you know, Uber, you might take a Lyft instead, but you call it an Uber. Like it's turned into a buzz term. So us in the industry, we like to say STR, short-term rental, because we don't want to, you know, we want to direct book through our own direct bookings websites and just have a marketing channel as Airbnb. So that's it in the nutshell.
All right, so Leslie, let's get into the nuts and bolts of vacation rental, shall we?
Sounds great.
Let's go. All right, you're doing the Airbnb thing out in the Smoky Mountains.
Yep.
Okay. Do you live out that way too?
Yeah, I live in Nashville, which is about 3.5 hours from all the cabins that I own. I was just telling Vinny, I'm like, I just launched in Colorado yesterday. I made the decision that I'm going to move into the Rockies. So I'm going to do Smoky Mountains and Rocky Mountains.
Smoky Rockies.
I'm going to be known as the cabin woman or something. I'm going to come
cabin lady.
Yeah.
Good. How are you funding those deals?
So right now, I'm just funding those deals out of cash flow, my own pocket. And I typically do DSCR lending structure. I have a bunch of different lenders that I use. I'm not particular about who I use, just whoever I know can perform and close the deal.
Are you at the growth pace you want to be at? Like, do you want to do a deal or two a year to add 1 or 2 properties to your portfolio, or are you looking to like hockey stick?
I mean, I'm just looking to bolt in what makes sense. So my unique thing is that I'm a licensed agent and I also own the property management company. What I'm trying to do is use myself to just be like the center of the gravity for all of it. Have been approached by people that have money that are like, let me just give you some money and you can just, and I'm like, I can help you buy it and then I can have my other company manage it. That's kind of how it's set up now. But I do get approached a lot just because of the nature of the fact that I own the property management company and I don't have no partners in any of it. A unique proposition for like capital raising, I guess, but I haven't done that. No.
Do you want to do that?
I mean, I've considered it. It's like a whole nother thing.
It's a big thing. It's another thing. Yeah. Capital raising by itself isn't a thing. You can make that easy enough, right? But the business scaling that happens is the thing, right? Because you could raise capital enough that where you could be buying, instead of 2 deals a year, like 15, 20, 30 deals a year. It could be less, right? But there's a whole business side of the acquisitions thing that you got to deal with. There's acquisitions and ops that have to get scaled way up if you start raising money from other people. Private capital increases your business velocity and your business capacity on everything else. It gets accelerated by private capital. If you're this big, you start raising private capital, you have to do this on everything else too. So are you happy? Are you comfortable where you're at now?
Yeah. Like I had a couple of years in a row where I bought like 5 properties a year. And then last year I bought probably 4, but they were kind of, it wasn't just like brand new, adding 5 more doors. It was a little different than that.
That's a lot for the Airbnb world. That's a lot of doors.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into these. It's not like buying an apartment building. It's like plug and play. I mean, you got to work on brand and furniture. I mean, Liz and I stayed in Airbnb this past week. It's abysmal, terrible. Yeah, the oven didn't work the whole time we were there. There was a hot tub that smelled like a foot.
Oh, no.
The owner, the whole time I'm going back and forth with her, she's sending me feedback and stuff like that. And then finally she's like, oh, she sends me a message. So this is really the owner. You've been dealing with my assistant the whole time. Like, so she had a VA that was doing her stuff. She had 61 units on her profile.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my fault. I booked this property. They had 3 reviews. Their average review on 3 reviews is 3.8%. No, 3.8.
Like anything under like a 4.7, Airbnb starts to tell you that they're going to delist you. The rating system is very different, but like a 4-star is bad. So if you're getting,
I gave her 2 stars because it was. Freaking oven didn't work, man. We won. Yeah.
Her money back.
I did. She refunded me. She gave me about 30% of my housing costs back.
I mean, we do that. I own a cabin personally that's got issues with the well. It'll occasionally run out of water. If a guest doesn't have water, that's like come on, you don't have
that sucks. Yeah, right.
But even if you don't have like the hot tub, or the hot tub smells like a foot or whatever you indicated, like that's still a really bad. That's bad.
Real. And it was one thing after another. It wasn't like one fluke. The hot tub stinks. The oven didn't work. The AC, I can keep going. The AC didn't work. This rec center that you're supposed to get badges to use, the badges they gave us were dated 2022. Complained about that. Oh, there's an outside fire pit that has a gas knob powered by propane. So the knob had broken off. I can't light an outside fire. Oh, I got to send a handyman. The handyman didn't show up for the fireplace. Oven still didn't work the whole time we were there. The stovetop worked. Yeah. But my niece who wanted to bake me gluten-free cookies couldn't do it because the oven wasn't working the whole time.
Oh.
Do you put artwork on your walls on Airbnbs?
Yeah.
Okay. Not one hanging piece of anything. I noticed that and I was like, this place didn't have any soul. Yeah.
But you said that she had a VA and she had 60 plus listings.
61.
Wow. So it could be somebody that's like co-hosting that's common in this.
There's no way this woman owns 61 units.
Yeah. There's no way that these owners that are having, like, she probably doesn't own them all. She's probably co-hosting for people.
Presenting herself as a fixer. Because I think that there's an owner that couldn't get Airbnb to work and she's got an online co-hosting business. What's a co-host get? Like, what's their fee?
Co-hosts could be 10% or 15%. But like professional property management is more like 25 and up. It could be as high as, I've seen some places charge 45%, but they are doing everything. Your licensing, your taxes, facilitating payments. You literally just get like a statement and a check, or we do direct deposit.
Do you want to do more of that?
That's what I am doing. It's Josh's Cabins. We're more like 25 to 35. It just depends on the property and how much work it's going to be and where it fits into our territory and our existing teams.
So could somebody approach you to like, I want to buy in the Smokies, and you would broker the sale, connect them up to your DSCR mortgage broker, and then once they close, would you, for a fee, like Airbnbify the property for them and trick it out and put in the fancy pants couches and the cool artwork and all that? You would do all that stuff for them?
Yes, that's exactly awesome. What we're doing. We took one on in Gatlinburg just recently. The owners were there. They did like a bunch of work inside the place, but there were still a few little things that we wanted to do for them to make it like make the most rent it could make.
Bump it up.
We don't charge hefty fees for that. It's kind of just like a service. There's small markup for stuff we manage.
If people want to give you money for deals, right?
That is how I'm set up today. And everything I own 100% with no partners. The investing I do in the DeRosa group is different. That's a different business that I own that is like a self-directed IRA, but everything else I'm doing is I'm fully licensed.
That's active. It's active versus passive. I'm proud to say I'm your passive investing outlet, but
we want to be for people that want to buy in the Smoky Mountains, so they can be passive in an active business.
Yeah, it can be viewed as passive too, owning in the Smokies.
Yeah.
Tell me, look, I want to buy a house in Smoky Mountains. Okay, pretend. What are like the 3 criteria that I have to know when I'm looking for a house in the Smokies?
The area needs to be within 20 minutes of either Dollywood or the island or the aquarium. There's like 3 major like tourist things in 3 towns. So it's like a triangle.
Okay. What's the island?
Pigeon Forge.
I know Dollywood, but what's...
It's a theme park in Pigeon Forge.
Okay.
So we have Dollywood in Sevierville, the island in Pigeon Forge, and then the Ripley's Aquarium in Gatlinburg. So that gives us the trifecta of the area.
Okay. And how far apart are these things?
Not very far.
So if I stayed in one Airbnb, is it possible to access all 3 of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but you want your house or your cabin, because it's probably going to be a cabin. That's the other one of the three. It needs to be a cabin because guests are coming to stay in a rustic cabin. But your cabin needs to be within a 20-minute drive of one of those three places. Otherwise, it's too far. People are like, it's 40 minutes. It's too far.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know investors that try to buy out of the Smoky, like it's still the Smokies, but it's a little further out, and that just, you don't rent as well. Yeah.
Near one of the three major assets, major magnets, right? You're going to be there. It's got to be a cabin.
It needs to be a cabin. It needs to look and feel like a cabin. Now, I have some that are not your true log cabin. It doesn't need to be a true log cabin, but it needs to like look and feel special, rustic, like a cabin.
Like a city boy like myself can come and stay and tell myself I'm living in the country for a little bit, right?
Yep.
Okay.
The third thing would be it needs to have a pool table, a hot tub, and a mountain view. Or it needs to be special. Like I saw one that was listed recently on a pond, and that looked really cool in the photos. Like it needs to be, it can't just be some dusty cabin in the forest. Or it needs to have like a trail in the, there's a whole like metric around this. But the mountain views really do, they sell themselves. You list them and they just stay rented.
And then let's pretend I abide by Leslie's rules and I got myself a house with a hot tub, with a pool table, with a mountain view near Dollywood. Do you have a sweet spot bed and bath count that you like, or do you not care? Are you agnostic to that?
Mostly what I own is 2 beds, 2 baths.
Really?
Yep.
So you can bring like a whole army full of kids and all that.
Yeah. Like I have some that make over $100,000 a year that sleep 4 people.
That's awesome.
So they do really well. And the biggest one I manage is a 5-bed, 5-bath. It's massive. And there's some even larger than that. There's definitely business to be had for any size. But if you're looking at it like a 1-bed, 1-bath, that's too small. I own a couple that only have 1 bathroom, and the performance is not as good as 2 bathrooms.
So you like 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. That's your sweet spot.
So it just depends on what pops up on the market. But 5-bed, 5-bath, I did sell to the buyer, and I am managing it. And it was like 1.8 million. So you're talking about two very different budgets. I bought one for $675 and one for $775, and then my client bought one for $1.85.
It's all relative, right? Okay, and maybe that was the real answer, is that it's relative to like a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom is going to sell, as you said, for 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there, and a 5-bedroom is going to sell for 1.8 million. But the rent fee on either of them is going to scale compared to beds and baths and square footage, right? Okay, cool. All right.
And so then primarily, like when I work, I do buy leads through Bigger Pockets. I'm a premium agent on their own. And then most of the people I'm working with, they are new investors or they're first time investors, and their budget is going to dictate a 2.2. They're not going to come up with 1.8. Their budget, most of them are like shopping 600 to 800,000, and some maybe even a little bit less, like $500,000. And I'm like, oh, it's going to be tough to get a mountain view 2-bed, 2-bath for $500,000.
What are the DSCR loans kicking in towards that these days?
I saw a rate advertised recently. It was like 8.25%. So they're very expensive, and you got to put down 20 or 25%. But a lot of these new first-time investors, they can take advantage of conventional mortgages, either vacation home, second home loans, or investment loans, and do 10 or 15% down at like 6-something%. So that's not an option for me. My portfolio is too large. I think I have 13 doors in the portfolio, so I can't do any more conventional. I'm capped out.
Okay. So
but I would recommend to them, like, why wouldn't you try to do it conventionally if you could? The only bad thing is they can't structure it within an LLC. They need to buy it in their personal name.
Yeah.
It's a little tricky.
Because the bank is viewing it as a second home, right? Yeah. Okay. And in that situation, the bank's not going to care that they're Airbnb-ing it for revenue, right? But the DSCR can be an LLC loan, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In the name of the LLC. And then if they do buy it in their personal name with a conventional mortgage, I have recommendations on how they insure the place to make sure that they're covered on a personal level. It's like a triplicate policy that we do. Yeah. It's not just homeowners insurance. It's got commercial liability and all this other stuff, loss of rent. And so there's a whole strategy around if you're going to buy it in your personal name to protect yourself.
There's a lot to this thing, guys. It's like finance, insurance. There's a lot to it. And that's why you need somebody like Leslie who can talk to you about this kind of stuff, right? So let me transition. Let's pretend I got this house. I took your advice.
Cabin.
I got the cabin. It's not a house, it's a cabin. And it's got a pool table, got a hot tub, got a cool view, right? But I just bought it and I'm going to put it on Airbnb. Give me a deeper cut on the decor conversation and on online marketing. And what do I got to do to get my revolving door going for people coming in and out of there?
Yeah. Most of them are going to be sold turnkey, but I recommend that you go in lay on the bed, sit on the couch, look in the kitchen cupboards, make sure the oven's working. Those basic things, it probably needs to be deep cleaned. Check the windows. The windows probably need to be washed. Walk around the outside because we do have a bear problem. It'll look like someone littered, but really just a bear tore through your trash can. So go around and do a trash pickup. It's obvious stuff. And then, yeah, it's just making sure that it's someplace you would want to stay. That's why I said lay on the bed, sit on the couch. I've done a lot of theming. Like the last few I bought, I did like a theme. And I just literally took down one of my properties and changed it from bear theme to Dolly Parton. So there is like opportunity to do something special and cool, like over the top. Like I painted walls pink. I painted cabinets pink. We went crazy.
Great. I bet the people love it. They probably have great reviews.
Photos.
Yeah.
Professional photos. Don't list it with your iPhone photos. Don't list it with the MLS photos from when you bought it because you can get sued for that. So you need a professional photographer. That's probably going to cost you $500. It's expensive, but it's worth it. People are making an online emotional decision when they book your place.
The awful Airbnb that I stayed in, it was very clear those photos were taken well before I got there. So the photos were the absolute best. The photos look fantastic. They had like a drone photo of like the outside of the house, looking down on it and everything like that. It was awesome, but it looked nothing like those pictures did. I highlight one more thing you said, and that's to go there. And I've stayed in a bunch of Airbnbs, and it's very clear that the person that is offering the Airbnb, the host, has not stayed there. Because it's like they would have realized, hey, there's no Tupperware anywhere in this house. There's 2 knives in the drawer. There's 1 spoon. No can opener, right?
Well, yeah, people take
God
those
forbid
things.
you want to have a can of tuna. Yeah. I mean, right? What's
What-
that?
What happens is, so your experience is like years down the road. So she's getting the same messaging from everybody staying there, and she's not going in and doing what you said, like making sure stuff's fixed and it works. People will start paying less rent because the rating of the place is dropping. And then you start getting a different quality of guest booking the place that then steals things. So then they'll take a fork because they want to eat something on their drive home or stuff like that. And so that's why you want to get a property management.
Yeah, but I think that a lot of times these houses become degraded to become party houses. And it probably doesn't happen as much in the Smokies, where people are just booking an Airbnb because they want to have their friends over and get stupid, like wreck a house that it doesn't matter that you do it in and all that. Maybe the host either doesn't care, doesn't know what's going on. But who wants that, right? Leslie, this was such an amazing conversation. You've honestly made me, I might be calling you to buy something in the Smokies because it is something that Liz and I have looked into. And what I really got from this is with the right operator and the right property management team, this can become a lot more hands-off for someone who wants to own something passively and a really alternative investment. You know, we offer apartment buildings, as you know, but this is something so different than anything else that's out there. You're really offering up space in the recreation department. And if you do it right, you're creating spaces that are unique enough that they're helping create memories for families and something that's so unique that's such a different experience than they can get in a hotel. Thank you for educating me with this.
No, this has been great. I love talking about it, all things cabins. But yeah, I'm really active on Instagram. My handle's at Leslie.Ann with an E. So ANNE.Morris. So Leslie.Ann.Morris. And then my personal website where I have all my companies and all my investing. You can even look at what's in my portfolio. It's LeslieAnnMorris.com.
LeslieAnnMorris.com. Check it out. She is the cabin lady. You guys are going to be hearing more about her. Leslie, thank you so much for joining us today for this. And guys, check out Leslie on her feeds that she just said. Thanks for joining us, Leslie. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
If you like this video, here's a few more you might like too. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you subscribe and like this video.